This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends, which includes, but is not limited to, Matthew Hunt. What's poppin', Hunt?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm chilling, baby, chilling.
Good to be back.
Another day in the life.
How are you not going to introduce our incredibly special guest that we have on set today? The one and only Dale Earnhardt Jr. Welcome everybody, Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the set. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Dude, I was a big fan of your father's, but
it's you like Dale Earnhardt Sr.
I like Marlboro Man better.
Who the fuck is Dale Earnhardt Jr.?
I mean, no, don't answer that. What do you want? Guess.
Yeah.
A NASCAR driver.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it wasn't too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a name like
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, like it's just a NASCAR driver name. And I just assume, like, I know a vague amount about some sports in this country, but NASCAR is one I know nothing about, so I'm just gonna throw it out.
That's like,
I didn't play cricket.
To be fair,
exactly, yeah.
To be fair, NASCAR is like pretty WWE adjacent.
Yeah, but it's also like literally no other country on earth likes or cares about NASCAR.
Yeah, that part's probably true.
Yeah,
But we have
F1.
WWE in England. We don't have NASCAR in England.
No, but you have some forms of racing.
Yeah, F1.
Well, yeah, but F1 is totally different than NASCAR. I know some F1 drivers. I don't know any NASCAR drivers.
okay, wait a minute. Let's play this game. Why? Why is it different?
Why is NASCAR
Well, it's a
different
closed
than
track
F1?
versus an open track.
Well, don't they just go round and round on the same track like 500 times or something?
Yeah, NASCAR is a closed track.
And it's also just like a circle. In F1, they have different tracks, different layouts, different venues all over the world. Like it's a totally different thing.
So if NASCAR had open tracks, it would be a lot more entertaining, you'd imagine.
It would also just be called something
honestly,
different.
I don't know how entertaining NASCAR is or isn't. I'm just saying no one in the rest of the world outside the US cares about it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It seems like a very Southern cultural thing in this country.
It's very much just that, and I would say the Venn diagram between NASCAR fans and WWE fans is almost a direct
it's probably like really crossover.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You love
That little
WWE.
sliver
I
on
do.
the end is
know-
Hunt.
Yeah, and me, and me.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we're the two outliers that don't give a shit about NASCAR, but actually
Yeah.
do like wrestling.
Right. I mean, speaking of wrestling, biggest pro wrestling show of all time just happened on Sunday.
What?
Yeah, biggest pro wrestling show of all time. AEW All In, Wembley Stadium, London, 80,000 people. Biggest paid wrestling attendance of all time.
And it wasn't even a WWE
it
show.
wasn't even a WWE show.
That's strong.
Yeah, very
I had
strong.
a conversation with a friend who said that anybody could be a WWE star. And I
That
said,
is
you
the
are
most-
ridiculous.
The most ridiculously untrue thing. That's so stupid.
What does that mean, anybody?
Just with enough time and energy, you can become a WWE star.
I got dragged into this.
It's like with enough time and energy, you can be the best poker player in the world.
There's a million parallels that apply here.
Yeah.
Poker is probably like the lowest of them
Right.
all. But like, I got dragged into this second-handedly because Landon was just venting to me how stupid of an argument this is. It's like, yeah, of course it is, man. Like, they're flying through the fucking air. You think that anybody could just learn to do that? It's
Right.
like, it's a physical thing, whether it's real or fake.
I was about to say the same thing. You would think the level of athleticism would be like
Right.
above and beyond, but when you think about it, there are guys that are in the WWE and these other organizations that aren't like super fit guys. You know, like,
Sure.
they're more of a character than they are athletic.
Yeah, there's basically two categories. Like you have to either be an athlete or essentially an actor who's playing a character 24/7, who's really good at being entertaining and spontaneous, and you just have like a really engaging persona.
Correct.
Most of those guys end up being
Either way,
managers,
you have
though.
some sort of talent.
But
right,
there
that you
are
can't just
guys
replicate.
who have done really well and thrive off of just being really good character workers and not actually being that great in the ring.
Yeah.
But you can't just not be good at either of those two things and have a good career. Like you can't just be like a guy who just doesn't really specialize in anything. You know?
Yeah, it's like being on a podcast. You have to have tremendous talent
Exactly.
to have a podcast, to be on it, to do it every day. It's just not easy. It's not a thing that anybody can.
Okay, I will say maybe I'm coming around then to the idea that anybody can do it because you five misfits getting a mic 5 days a week.
Poker podcasts are the same thing. You either have to be a really good poker player or you have to be super charismatic like Brian.
Exactly.
You just have to
It's really tough to be both.
Yeah, but
what is Conrad? The best.
Pass.
Yeah. I guess there's always room for one hype man.
Hey, Matthew, be
Conrad's a
careful with
charisma
Chauncey
guy.
behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
The
what?
Be
picture's
careful
falling.
with Chauncey, yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh no.
Was it like that all day?
Chauncey's
No, it just
Chauncey's
fell
a
over.
Oh, wait,
charisma
baby.
guy as well.
That's such a nice tribute to Chauncey.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see this happen.
I haven't seen that before.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're just intrigued by.
I love that we got that.
We're seeing how an
It's-
award-winning
there's like
podcast works right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This just goes to prove the point that not anybody can do this. I have 3 seconds to fix something on my set. The whole place goes silent.
Yeah.
That's because we're intrigued in your
Yeah.
endeavors.
Well, no one else can see my endeavors.
This we can because the camera was
The
on you.
camera's on you.
Good
It's
job,
intriguing
Bob.
stuff, Matt. What do you
Good
want
job,
from me?
Caldwell. Great.
We had to pause the
Great
show
work.
to see how long it would take.
That's
No.
like that's the equivalent of being a wrestler and having to figure out what to do when someone breaks their leg in the middle of a match and you have to like try to pretend that it was planned.
You just
know?
pin them. You just pin them and say, "I'm sorry. We're moving on from this." Speaking of moving on, let's get into some poker stuff.
Well, R.I.P. Grandpa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
left for a couple days, went home, saw family, went to go see like everyone's mental state was, and everyone seemed pretty okay. It's so nice to have like the perspective of not loss, but rather gratitude, where I'm just so thankful that I had a role model like him in my life when I was younger, and all of like the crazy things that you did when you were younger are the things that you remember the most. And like the grace he had back then. Like I remember I was in his apartment. He had 2 medicine balls. He had an envelope opener. It looked like a knife. And I just, for whatever reason, I had an intrusive thought and just stabbed the medicine ball. And it just popped open. And it's like, these are the kind of things you remember alongside like the character and the virtues that he kind of showed of being kind, like, and always kind of being there for family. He did so much for us when we were younger. Like the very least I can do in some regards with the time and awareness that I had was to go back home, be with family, and kind of just reconnect with them and then come back here. So it's nice to take those 2 days and then be back.
Yeah.
What was your grandpa's name?
Melvin Bike.
Mel,
He actually-
Mel Bike. That's
He
a cool
actually
name.
married someone whose first name was Rhoda.
Rode a bike.
No, stop.
No.
Shut up. Rode a bike.
And a god. Legend. That's how much he commits to the bit.
Did he
you
marry
know?
them for that reason?
I mean,
I mean,
it's hard
You
not
kind
to.
of have to at that point.
Oh my god, strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a legend. He had told me a gambling story where like back in the day it was like draw games. I don't know how true it is. I'm just going to believe it's true for my own entertainment. He said he played a draw game. He was in the military for a bit. He went to this place and played with some of his military buddies and some people that they didn't know. It was a draw game. There was a big pot going on. And he puts in a big bet on the river. And the guy says like, you got it. Like, I guess you got it. And then folds. And like back then, like showing a bluff was like one of the most disrespectful things you can do. And he just like smiled and like tabled it. And the guy jumped the table with a knife. And his army boys like pinned the guy down. And I was like,
God.
this is the story he told me once I said I wanted to start playing poker. And like one of the last things and last memories I have with him, I went to go see him with a friend, and like just the entire time he just like was talking to me. He's like, I'm so proud of you for taking the chance and being who you want to be. And that's the stuff that I remember, and I'll never forget it.
That's cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah, we told everybody that you left because you heard that I lost 160K and you were trying to duck the 5%.
It's a running tab.
Yeah. I got a lot of those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of running tabs.
You gotta collect them. Start collecting some
I'm going to
checks.
start charging interest.
Well, I mean,
Not
interest,
monetary interest. I'm going to like start charging like chores interest or something.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to fire Tammy. And it's like every
Do
month.
my laundry.
Yeah, every month that the tab doesn't get
No,
paid
you
down.
did that.
go-
You tried that. It didn't work out.
No.
That's why you got Tammy in the first place.
Tammy's
Mhm.
pretty efficient at what
yeah,
she does.
Tammy's wonderful.
She's great.
Shout out to Tammy.
There is a big announcement coming from PokerStars that some people in this room are maybe too young to even remember, but they're bringing back the NAPT, which when it first launched was a huge deal. There were no tournaments at this price point back then, and it really did hit a sweet spot between people who couldn't yet play WPT main events, but were like kind of ready to get into the mix. So the NAPTs are a 5K main event. They used to be high rollers, actually. You probably remember Mercier and Vanessa Selps, I believe, both either won a title or final tabled one. But it didn't last long. It happened. It launched like right before Black Friday. Once Black Friday happened, they ceased to exist. I think that they did a Venetian stop, a Foxwood stop, maybe one or two others. But it seems as though they're relaunching the tour, and I'm not really sure what the impetus behind this is, other than maybe they're finally starting to put a little bit of marketing into the few American cities that they are legal in. They're not yet in Nevada, but they are relaunching here in Nevada. They're going to be at Resorts World right before F1, so it's the week prior. I guess the 2 weeks prior, November 4th to the 12th. The main event is the 1650 that has 6 starting flights.
Wow.
Doesn't say anything about a guarantee, but I imagine...
I'm sure there'll be one.
Yeah.
It sounds like the higher-ups are just coming for F1. They're like, let's run a poker fucking event.
Maybe.
Let's fuck it. You know what?
Honestly, you're probably not that wrong. It ends November 12th. F1 starts the 16th, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it basically ends, like, right before the mad rush of people coming in where you could no longer afford a hotel room. So this is pretty good time.
Where Circus becomes expensive.
I imagine Circus rooms are going to be like hundreds of dollars a night.
I wonder how much.
And you should be paid to stay at that place. I mean, it is really disgusting.
Apparently, they have one of the best steakhouses.
Yep. We went to
Circus is fun if you want like an old Vegas kind of vibe, like it's on
that is so polite.
It's on the it's on the strip, but it has a vibe a bit like Fremont, so like
I think it has a vibe of there being hepatitis needles laying around. I've gone for Fright Night or whatever the hell they call their Halloween thing. It was fun for sure, but it was also just like I might get shanked somewhere in line.
The clown logo is the Fright Night every night.
Yeah.
Every day, 24/7.
I can imagine
365.
Right, like if you're afraid of clowns and then just bringing that person there.
I'm not even afraid of clowns.
On Fright Night,
it's kind of ironic.
Scary.
It's kind of weird because like the entire theme of the casino, it like appeals to kids. Like they have an arcade there. It's it really is.
They have like mini golf and
don't
shit.
They have like an indoor like amusement park?
Yeah, they do. They have they have a whole like mini golf thing. They have arcade games. They have old school arcade stuff.
I fucking rode the roller coaster during the Fright Night or whatever, and part of the scare was that you just get absolutely drenched.
Really?
And I was like, who thought this was a good idea? This is miserable.
Part of the scare is just being wet.
I thought you were gonna say part of the scare is that it might fall apart while you're in the air.
Oh, that's probably partially true. But
I mean, that scare is always there.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
It's not a new
There's
scare.
an added dimension to being on a roller coaster where you're not quite sure that it actually works properly.
I think that's true of most. I mean, we frequent the amusement park back in Pittsburgh called Kennywood, and it has like the oldest wooden roller coaster of all time.
Yeah, how is that like
I
an
would not go on
achievement?
a wooden roller coaster.
There's a bunch of wooden roller coasters. The Thunderbolt
Oh my god! I
the
would
Thunderbolt,
not go on a
the
wooden
Jackrabbit,
the Thunderbolt's the
racers.
fastest wooden roller coaster. I think it's either the Jackrabbit or the Racer is the oldest.
Yeah.
The amount of maintenance you have to do on that is insane. Probably,
I'm sure.
right?
The Coney Island one is still up, I think. Cyclone.
There's a roller coaster.
Oh,
There's
baby,
one in the
there
UK.
it is. Look at that.
I don't know if this roller coaster still
I took
exists.
this footage.
But when I was a kid, there was a roller coaster in the UK. There was a backwards one. Like you sit on
they
it
have that
and-
at Cedar Point too.
Oh, they do? Yeah. I don't know if like at the time when they made it, it was like a really big deal in the UK. I think it was called X No Way Out or something like that. But I went on that when I was like 14. I was like, nope, that's it for me. Roller coasters, not doing that again. Didn't like it. And even just watching this is like making me a little uneasy.
I actually have
roller coasters.
a very wholesome story.
This is giving me nostalgia.
I love
Yeah.
the Thunderbolt. Now I'm going to tell the story why. It's my favorite ride of all time. It's actually just a flat out great ride, and should be in anybody's top 10 roller coasters anyway. But
The Kennywood roller coaster.
so
The Thunderbolt.
when we were kids, every summer we would have Kennywood Day, and it would always be like I don't know, like somewhere mid-August, where our entire town would get like discounted tickets to go. I think whenever we first started going, they were like pretty cheap, like $10 or $15 for the entire day. Now it's like it might be like $80 to go for a day or something.
Inflation.
Well, it was also discounted. Like the regular price was probably double that. But anyway, there would be like $10 or $15. Through elementary and high school, like you just look forward to this day for the entire summer. And the older you got, the more important this day became because of girls. Right. So I would always go with my best friend Gumby. His parents would, I didn't have a car or money or anything like that. So his parents would drive us down. They would set up like this big picnic area. We would have a place to like set up shop, go eat, whatever. So I was terrified of roller coasters. So the first 2 or 3 that I went to, like 5th grade, 6th grade, didn't ride basically anything outside of like, the circular ones and like the swings and the bullshitty rides, whatever. But in 7th grade, we went and it poured the whole day.
I remember
the whole day.
That seems scary.
It did seem scary.
Well, they shut a lot of them down.
Right. When it rains, they shut a lot of the stuff down. So we were basically like riding water rides all day while it was raining. And I remember we went on the rapids with Renee. And I was like, I got a little taste of riding with a hot girl. And I'm like, okay, now I get the point of this. This is fun.
Yeah.
So in the evening, the park was open until 10. They would do like something for the bands and stuff.
Yeah,
around
a parade.
Yeah, they would do like
a
parade
for
at like 7 p.m. or 6 p.m., something like that. So the parade happens, the rain ceases, and now we have like 3 hours to ride afterwards. And Kennywood at night is like man. It's the best. It's like the last 2 or 3 hours, you're just there hanging out. Like you get to go on these rides and it's a little bit dark. So Gumby like had all the Riz. Just all the fucking Riz. He had an older sister who was 2 years older than him that was already in high school. And she had all the hot friends.
That's helpful. It's helpful when you get comfortable around hot girls.
Yeah, and like he was just comfortable around it, whatever. So like we end up meeting up with her friends. It was Danielle Butler and Mindy Lucchino. And
how people are going to find out where they're at now.
I said, Mindy Lucchino.
He knows.
So Guapo's looking her up already.
Guapo's looking an image for the people.
He's on Facebook searching.
So we ended up meeting up with them. It's like 9:00. We're getting in the like last hour of rides or whatever, and they want to go on the roller coasters, and I haven't done them yet. And I'm like, fuck, like there's just no getting out of this. So I'm kind of like showing a lot of hesitation. And Butler, you had a crush on Butler too. She was the sweetest. She was just like coercing me, like, come on, you could ride with me type of stuff. Like, grab my hand and I'm in 7th grade. So like, this is just
it's everything.
Yeah,
I'm like, done. And I remember being in line just like sick with how nervous I was.
It's so wholesome.
But the big thing with the Thunderbolt is you have to pick an outside and an inside rider because it leans really hard one way. So like obviously I was bigger and I was the inside rider. So we get on the Thunderbolt and we hit that first turn and she's just like in my lap and I was like, this is it.
I can die happy.
I'm done. I'm done. I have a 10th grader in my lap right now. Like,
and that's when Berkey went from a boy to a man.
Never stopped riding roller coasters from that point forward.
Love roller coasters.
Love roller coasters.
Love women.
Yeah,
I might have to hit up Kennywood when I go home next month.
Yeah.
Wow, that's going to be like your Pittsburgh date idea. Go to Kennywood.
If I lived in Pittsburgh, 100%. Like during the summer, I would go on dates in Kennywood for sure. It's great.
Look at Kenny Pickett riding the Steelers.
He looks extremely concerned.
Nah, he's good.
Wait, it's not actually a Steelers coaster.
Yeah, they have a Steelers.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not the Phantom?
That's a different one.
Oh.
This is different. Yeah.
So they have the Phantom's Revenge now.
And they have a whole Steelers. It's called like I don't know the exact name. I think it's called like
the Steelers
coaster.
It's called the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl.
Look at that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's black and gold.
Bro,
imagine that.
You guys don't know about Kennywood, man. Kennywood's it.
Yeah.
All right, can someone? Oh, Pickett, Steelers got it.
Shut up, Guapo.
I would be out of that. I would be out of there so fast with that thing. Like I don't want to be that high above the ground going upside down.
That does look
you don't really get a choice after you strap in.
That's true.
Okay, so let me rephrase. I am not going on a coaster like that.
When I was in college for
Hunt wants out mid-ride.
Yeah, I would be at that point.
Let me out.
When I was in college, we to raise money, we would go work Cedar Point in Ohio. And this was slave labor. Like they would make us work 16-hour days, and obviously we weren't getting paid.
Who's they?
The park.
It's the man, obviously.
Yeah, the
You
park.
would go work at the park for like community service.
We would have to be there at 6 a.m. and we would be there until like close at 10 and then have to clean up. So we'd be there from like 6 a.m. till 11.
You were
Why?
how old?
19, 20.
Oh,
Wait,
okay.
for what purpose?
So it was for fundraising for our baseball team. We would like the team itself would get a few $1,000s
From the
park.
From the park.
For basically
Not
working
from-
for no wages.
Not from people. Basically, they
Correct.
paid you to work for them.
Yeah.
Like below minimum wage.
Yes,
Like
for
$1 an
sure.
hour.
All
For
of
sure.
you.
Like probably $1 an hour.
This doesn't
yeah.
sound like fundraising. This just sounds like scamming kids.
That's what I'm saying. We got scammed for
You got
sure.
skamazed.
But what we got out of it was we had the park. We would work it Memorial Weekend. So
So you got 1 weekend.
so we would go Thursday, the day before the park opened, and the whole park was just ours. So we would get to ride whatever we wanted.
That's cool.
It was
That's
really,
worth it, actually, probably.
It was pretty sweet. But I mean, it is just like you and your boys, and everybody's like rowdy and stupid and whatnot. But
And Cedar Point's like 10 times the size of Kennywood.
yeah,
Cedar Point sick.
Yeah.
it's sick. And I remember they had this ride. I think it's called the Mantis, where you actually ride the roller coaster standing up.
Wow, interesting.
It's not interesting.
Standing
It's just horrifying.
Or you're hanging.
I don't remember.
Like you're hanging.
You might
Yeah.
just be hanging.
Like your legs are free and you're just like strapped in from your like shoulders.
I want to say you were in a vertical position.
Hunt's like,
Yeah.
this sounds
I
terrible.
don't have any of these stories. Growing up in the UK is boring, evidently, because I don't have any
We're
stories
thrill
anything like
seekers
this.
out here, man. We have NASCAR.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like you were in a vertical position, whether or not you were like strapped in up top
Like
or
dangling.
like actually standing. I don't remember,
Either
but I'm
way.
pretty sure you were vertical, not sitting. And I got to tell you, that was not for me.
No, that sounds.
A lot of
that sounds-
loop diddy
yeah.
loops in there. A lot of me losing my lunch. It was a bad time.
I mean,
Very bad
I've
time.
been skydiving before, but I don't think I could ever do shit like that again. Like,
I'm out on
I'm not even
skydiving.
sure if
Yeah,
I can
I'm-
go on
I'm
like
way
a
out on
roller coaster
skydiving.
again.
Oh, roller coasters.
Oh, there it is.
I'm all for it.
I don't know. Recently, I've just been feeling when I'm in tubes, like in airplanes, I can get like a little like I don't know, anxious.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you have this feeling of control. Like you don't want something to go wrong.
Well,
Like dying.
Yeah, but when you
That's
realize
wrong.
if you step on the airplane,
that's-
that's not in your control. Why are we worrying?
Yeah. It also feels pretty safe in the airplane. You don't really even feel that you're moving.
I don't even think it's like dying part. It's just being in a tube and just being
Just
in the
like
air. Just
claustrophobic.
yeah,
Claustrophobia
being
more
in
so
the
than anything
air.
else.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. I don't know.
At the
get
same
that.
time, like you face your fears and fly sometimes. You can fly to New York.
I mean, like I said, like I've said it before, this fucking ski lifts is bad for me right now.
Ski lifts, Conrad
Ski
and ski
lifts
lifts.
are bad for me right now. It's just like I don't know.
Ski lifts are
it's
not
like-
good.
The war on ski lifts has
Well,
begun.
no, I mean, ever since there was a movie that came out, I think when I was fairly young, which was about people getting like stranded on a ski lift. And it was like a survival horror type movie. Like,
Is it even real?
I saw that. Yeah, it's like a true story.
Okay.
I saw that movie, and then I went on like a skiing trip after that, and I was like really afraid to get on the ski lift.
Right.
It's definitely not a pleasant experience
we went
being
to
on
Park.
there.
We went to Park City, and I was just by the last day, I was like, oh my god, I think we like got stuck on there for like 20 minutes or something like that. And I was just like, oh my god, I can't do this
Oh,
ever
man.
again.
Getting stuck on a ski lift is not for
I
me.
was
either, yeah.
ridiculously.
Unless you're with a hot girl.
I was like unreasonably afraid of the ski lift when I first started to learn how to snowboard 2 years ago. For whatever reason, honestly, here's the simple reason: is that I was like learning with Lynn, and she refused to put the bar down, and that's all it would have taken to make me feel safe.
But like, why?
It's just putting the bar down because I don't know, man. You're not cool if you put the bar down. And like to be fair, like I don't really put the bar down now unless like people request it. But when I was first starting, like I needed that little extra sense of
Yeah.
security, and I was such a little bitch about it. Like I was just sitting there like clinging to the back rail.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
a new experience. Like, why would you be comfortable?
I'm also just not good with heights at all. So like just the difference between being like semi strapped in versus not at all.
I mean, it's just the reverse for you to not put the bar down.
You know what I think it is? I think I get like a lot of intrusive thoughts.
Like, just jump.
Not even, just more so like how far could I lean forward before I just fall?
Push my partner.
Right? And like and those things just
Test
like
the limits.
start racing through my head, and you get a little bit of like vertigo where it's like you kind of feel like you don't have complete control
Yes.
as to whether or not you lean forward. And I'm just like, please, just the bar.
At some point, you realize
Everything's
it's not
white.
you.
You can't tell where the sky starts. And
Right.
like,
Oh,
yeah.
People start fucking
mountain-
dangling their
yeah,
goddamn
and-
feet.
Did you guys see
Right.
that Instagram reel from a couple years? It might have been last season or 2 seasons ago, where this this group got stuck on a ski lift underneath a fake snowmaker.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Oh my God. It was
Where
just
it
shooting
erupted.
up. Yes.
It was just blasting them with
Right,
water for
yeah.
like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And they just couldn't do anything
was
about it.
absolutely-
How
Brutal.
could you not just?
I was
Joe?
that literally. I was thinking of that. Oh, what happened when Hunt was saying about those people got stuck?
Yeah.
It's like a form of waterboarding.
You want to talk about you
Yeah.
want to talk about intrusive thoughts? Like
Yeah.
every one of them would run through my head. Like, all right, well, how bad could it be if I just jumped right now?
You just have to jump
From
though. You
30
just can't get hit from fucking.
I mean,
water,
they were like
right?
30 feet up.
I mean, that or get hit with water for
I don't know.
an unknown amount of time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who's gonna carry the boats?
in the fucking freezing cold?
Yeah.
It's cold. That's cold fucking water.
It literally looked like
Look.
they were like hovering above a geyser.
I couldn't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
imagine.
This is what
that
Goggins
shit.
dreams of. Okay.
No, it is not. Goggins would have jumped.
So the ski lift got stuck, and it was cold. I was with my friend. He said he wanted out. I said, I wish the ski lift stayed here. I wish the water keep coming.
There's
Go ahead and jump, Mr. Poopy Pants.
Stay hard.
there is nobody. No,
He's coming on the podcast one day, but we have to make it happen.
gotta jump.
He's in Vegas a lot, man.
That's what I'm saying.
We have a lot of mutuals. Like he's friends with Perkins and Bilzerian, I think.
We have to make it happen.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way.
We need it.
We would change. We'd be changed forever. The podcast would be changed forever for sure.
So that NAPT, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
NAPT.
How did we went from NAPT to ski lifts
Yeah.
in 5 minutes?
Right. Well, we mentioned
Doesn't take much.
circus, and then it was all down
Yeah.
Yeah,
downhill
it went
from there.
NAPT to clowns to ski lifts.
The good news
somehow.
is that the NAPT will not be at Circus. It'll
No.
be at
Resorts World.
Resorts World.
I'm actually I'm really curious because it's playing tournaments in Vegas, you get into this sort of routine where everything is either it's WSOP or outside of that, the rest of the year it's almost always just Venetian and win.
Right.
And occasionally like there'll be like 5 Diamond at Bellagio or something. But to have a new event at a venue like Resorts World, which hasn't even been around very long, like it's going to be really interesting to see how they handle putting on a big tournament, like what it's like. Do they do as good of a job as the Win does? Like,
So-
it's just going to be really interesting.
I have a lot of questions here because where is this going to be held? I'm
was about to
assuming with
ask
the
I don't
same
know.
thing.
This is
So
the
there's
thing. Yeah.
20 tables in Resorts World.
I think
So-
they have like a convention.
They gotta have
area.
something
That's
like
the question.
that.
Are they going to put a guarantee on this in Music Convention Center, or are they just going to run it in their poker room and have 20 tables running and just basically, a bunch of alternates? Well, that's why they have 6 starting flights.
that's a
I
good
don't know.
point.
I kind of
Yeah,
think it feels
not
like they're
sure.
going to be in the poker room.
Yeah, I mean, their room manager Leon has a lot of experience. I believe he was previously at Aria and Win, so I expect that like he'll do a very good job. I imagine that they have ballroom space.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like that's just kind of the
I would
go-to
think
if they're
so, too.
expecting.
Wait a
big-
minute. It's 6 flights, 1 flight per day, or 2 flights per day for 3 days, like a morning and an afternoon.
I'm not sure.
I
don't
think
it
it's the
says.
latter because I think the date said the event was the 6th to the 11th. So it's like
12th.
5. No, but the 1650 main event, 6th to the 11th. So
My
if it-
read would be 2 a day.
yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
2 a day plus day 2, day 3. Like
Yeah,
it can't
yeah.
it can't
That makes
be
sense.
it can't be 6 day ones followed by day 2 followed by
Which,
day
which
3.
leads me to believe that there's going to be no guarantee and it's going to be in the poker room.
Maybe. I mean,
Well,
they're also running the
Or a smaller
5K
guarantee.
simultaneously. So the
Yeah.
5K starts the 10th.
Yeah, I would yeah,
But that's day 2 and day 3 of the.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't be sure how they're going to manage it exactly, but if this was to develop into Resorts World being like a third venue for tournaments in Vegas throughout the year for various different events, kind of like Venetian and Win are, that'd be great for the Vegas tournament scene.
Yeah, I think that's
Vegas
true.
tournament scenes really seems pretty sick, no?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just like the more the
yeah,
merrier.
exactly. I'm not gonna.
The price point is good too, right? 1650. A lot of people can play it. It's just like not everybody's going to be playing a 5K or 10K.
It's actually pretty crazy how much the tournament scene's evolved in like the last 5 years. I mean, we're not that far removed from the Bellagio having 3 WPTs to 0.
Yeah.
It used to be the place for the MTTs.
It was the only place. It was the only place where you could play something other than the Venetian Deep Stacked. Nobody else got any events around town.
How long ago did Win start running events?
Probably within the last 5 years.
I think I think they started like taking it really seriously maybe just before the pandemic, and then when the pandemic when live poker started coming back, they really like
Once they moved
more
to
time and energy
Encore.
into it. Yeah,
That's
that
crazy.
was basically
When
it.
they
It
were
was
still
like-
the Win Poker Room, they would have the Win series every March that conflicted with Bay 101. and usually resulted in a 5K main event, but it was always very small. And then they might have like a summer series during the
But
World
when
Series.
they moved to Encore, they really stepped it up.
Oh, that's crazy.
I never saw it in the Win.
Yeah, I never played it. I never
ever-
played in the actual Win poker room. I
Yeah.
just played in Encore. Yeah.
Ever since I came, or I've been here, so it's like 5.5 years. It's been good for tournaments.
Yeah.
Like
So I think it was 2018 or so that they moved to Encore, maybe.
Yeah, Bellagio used to have Festalago, the Doyle Brunson Classic, 5 Diamond, and then they would do the Bellagio Cup during the summer. And all of these were big buy-in events. They also hosted the WPT Championship for many years. So like everything Vegas was centralized around Bellagio, but the prelims throughout eternity never got runners.
Right.
They never, ever had prelims. Like they would put them on the schedule, but they were dust.
Yeah.
They'd run a 550 that would get like 80 people, and they would always run a 5K 6 max before 5 Diamond, and it would get like 80 people. So it was always very, very tiny, and it didn't take long. I mean, once Jack left, I think the new management realized that they're a cash first room, and trying to run tournaments in they had the Fontana Lounge for a while, but even that was just spillover. They would still be running a lot of the event in the poker room. Once they got rid of the Fontana Lounge, that was it. Like tournament poker at the Bellagio was just done. There was no way they were going to be able to keep up. Shutting down 55 cash games during the busiest time because like the tournaments bring in a lot of action, and then running it basically with like a smidge of overflow in the sports book.
So
well, I have a
Bellagio-
question.
Yeah,
They're running a series this week or next week.
they are, but I think it's going to be very poor. They're trying to compete now with the Venetian deep stacks. If you look, the buy-ins are all very
Wait,
small.
Bellagio's running a series right now?
It's very small.
Yeah, they have a 3,500.
It's a 3,500 main, but all the prelims are like sub 1K.
I didn't even know that.
Wait. So Bellagio used to have like 3 WPTs and like tournament series a year.
Yeah.
And now they just have none.
Correct.
Yeah.
But except for this one. Because they didn't have this last
Well,
year.
this isn't WPT.
Right. Yeah.
Right. This is just them doing their own thing.
They did run something last year. I'm pretty sure.
5 Diamond.
They had 5 Diamond
happened
was last year. 5
Yeah.
Diamond.
Yeah.
That's
Five
when
Diamond
Cuz
is
got second
WPT.
in.
Yeah.
Right.
Five Diamond is WPT.
Yeah, but when it moved to October, I think the numbers kind of fell off a little bit, and it was just kind of clear that they were going
Do you think that the WPT having a deal with Win is affecting that? Like, do you think?
No, I mean they have brand deals with everybody.
Okay, so
You
they're
know?
not like they don't have like an exclusivity thing or anything.
No, whenever they were running like 5 Diamond and Festalago and a few others at Bellagio, they would still have the occasional one-off at Venetian. Like I don't know if you
okay.
remember, but last summer or 2 summers ago, they had a 5K.
Yeah, I know. I remember WPT Venetian actually.
Yeah.
But I guess that was before they did last December's series at the Win. So I guess what I'm saying is like now that they have this big winter series at the Win, is it that they have like an exclusivity thing because they're running this for like I think they said 4 years? Or
No.
right?
But think about how WPT works. So this is the championship. This is WPT championship. It's not like a series of events, and basically their entire business model is to license their naming out to casinos
that
or
makes
whatever.
sense. Yeah.
So like even when Bellagio was hosting 3 WPTs, there was still Borgata WPT, Florida WPT, Foxwood WPT, LAPC,
Right.
Bay 101, all these places across the country.
Yeah.
And there was plenty of times throughout the decades where there were not competing WPTs in Vegas, but where multiple venues
But like multiple
would
Vegas
host.
venues would host them.
Yeah,
Okay.
like Mandalay Bay, way back in the day, hosted one at the same time, or not at the same time, but the same year that Bellagio hosted one. I don't think Mirage ever did.
Yeah.
So do you think
Efro just said Mirage had WPTs for years.
Mirage
Okay.
did? Okay, yeah,
Wow.
maybe like the inaugural seasons.
do you think 5 Diamond will ever come back?
It was very popular.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, they're just names, though.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
So they're just names attached to venues. Like, I don't think 5 Diamond will move.
Right. It won't become like an event that they do somewhere else other than
Right.
Bellagio.
Right.
It might not ever come back, though. Like, I think LAPC is drawing dead to ever come back.
Yeah, it feels like that's really died.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that's done. I think Bay 101 is dead to ever come back. And like Bay 101 was one of the most popular stops on the planet. That place raves for like poker celebrity. And the unique structure of having bounties on poker celebs and stuff like that. Like the locals just
Right.
absolutely showed up and showed out. I mean, the rail would be 50 deep. And you've probably never been there.
Bay 101?
Yeah.
No.
It's kind of like a pretty enclosed space where like the poker floor is like walled off.
Okay.
And then, you know, you just have walkways, and those walkways would just be crammed with people who were just like literally sweating Scotty Wynn and Mike Mattisau at a couple different tables.
God, I can't imagine sweating Mattisau.
They
Who's out there like really fucking rooting for Mattisau?
They love it, and it was so cool because like you bust a pro, and they would sign a T-shirt that says like it would have their face on it.
Like I busted.
Yeah.
And it had their
Well,
face.
it wouldn't say that was the full tilt thing.
Oh, that's right.
But it
Yeah,
would just like have a picture of.
That's great. Like I'm all for giving people T-shirts that say I busted this person or
Right.
whatever. Just like
I feel like
lean into that.
Jacksonville does this type of bounty structure now.
Yeah, maybe.
Or something
It's
along
not the
those
structure
lines.
that was a hit though. It was how much the fans
Atmosphere.
were there for the atmosphere, and the structure just kind of catered to that. It complemented it well.
Well, it seems it's more like tournament also and entertainment, less so tournament.
Yeah.
So like adding more entertainment value to tournaments would be better.
Yeah, for sure. And they would do a prelim right before. I think it was like a 2,500, and it was capped at however many people they could house. I think like a few hundred or whatever. And you basically had to like get on a list with Savage to even be able to play the prelim. So it was like difficult to even have a chance to play this relatively suck, because all the bounties would all the bounty players would obviously have an entry into that.
Yeah, it's kind of
And
a
the
sick
bounties
idea.
were pretty soft.
I remember it used to be a lot of them, right?
Yeah, it was like one per table, so it would be like 50 a day.
Yeah, that's wild.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Sad to see it die.
Well, it'll be cool if if this NAPT takes off and then they start doing this at least once a year or more,
Yeah.
and then it's just like another.
Well, if it takes
option,
off, it'll be
another-
a tour. They'll
Right.
have a half dozen.
This is kind of
Right,
just a
right.
like a.
But I mean, like a stop in Vegas, like
Yeah.
every year, and you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
it's going to be there, and it's just like one more thing in Vegas. Right now, you have like the Win Millions, you have the big event at the end of the year, you have the World Series during the year, you have everything else that's going on during the World Series, and then you have like add this into the mix, and then also if you like circuit stops. So it's
I don't know, man. I
just
don't
like
envy
poker
being
everywhere, man.
I don't envy being a tournament player.
God.
Like, how do you decide where you're?
This is just a trial run, right?